All right, welcome back for another episode of Dollar Bin Digging. This is the video and article that I do for comicbookinvest.com where I talk about those little hidden treasures tucked away in those cheap boxes, those dollar boxes, whether you're digging at your LCSs, cheap dollar boxes, a flea market, yard sale. These are just those books based on some of the recent news, rumors, speculation, some things you can kind of go and scavenger hunt for that might still be out there buried in some of these boxes. Some things will be like first appearances, something will be things of that nature. Just fun little books that you can go out there hunting even now that you might find in those cheap boxes. Hopefully you enjoy this series as well as everything else here on the channel. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. We have a giveaway going on, so make sure you join us Sunday to see the live announcement on the Star Wars show and find out if you were the winner of Astro Wizard's sketch cover. Yes, I've been talking about it all week. This could be one of yours. So all you got to do is follow the very simple rules and check out on the channel what you need to do, or you just watch the show live on Sunday and you can get a shot at that book. That all said, if you want to know what cheap books I'm talking about this week, just hang on for a few seconds after the intro and I will be right back. All right, as we've been doing, we are going to continue on with some more of those books from Marvel and DC that you can go and find in those boxes based on some of the rumors, speculation, first appearances, announcements, things of that nature. These are things you can go out there and scavenger hunt for out of the boxes. It's just kind of fun. First up, we are going to go with what we talked about on the tax show last night as a news item. Sleeper is getting a redesigned look. Yeah, a little different there. Venom, I think issue 11 is where we're going to see this newly redesigned Sleeper from what we've seen before. And yeah, I don't know what to think of this. It kind of reminds me a bit of Yellow Jacket from the Ant-Man movie and a little bit of Bane kind of put together, mashed up with all these test tubes and gear and things sticking all off of them. I don't really get it, but hey, it is what it is. We have a redesigned symbiote that people can go out there and go grab if they are so inclined, I guess. Now, with that said, let's look at Sleeper. Technically, the first appearance is in Venom number 165. If you want to go with the symbiote part of it, the symbiote really was born out of Venom. And you can see here stillbirth. This is kind of the start of this little offspring of Venom, this Sleeper symbiote, basically. Venom 165. And again, this book was hot a long time ago, so things have cooled down quite significantly. And this thing is pretty cheap once again. Now, who knows if there's going to be any still buried in the dollar boxes? Maybe they've all been liberated, but I'm sure there's probably still a few tucked away out there, or a few that haven't been pulled out of recent collections that some shops might have picked up. Because again, look at this. This thing's selling $4, $5, $40 for a 9.6 SS. This thing is not selling for very much right now, but it is technically the first appearance of the symbiote, the Sleeper symbiote. And if you go online, if you want to go shopping for one, you can see, yeah, $9, $10 for raw copies, and a 9.8 you can get yourself for like $80, which is not too bad. But again, I'm not telling you to go pay market prices for any of these books. These are things that might be tucked away in those boxes that you just keep an eye out for. Just you never know what you might come across. But again, that's just the symbiote. I think the more popular pick for the first appearance of Sleeper has been First Host number 3. So there's Venom miniseries First Host. You got a Kree in there. This is the A cover for it, which is also, I think, the more popular of the covers. There is a B cover for this one, which isn't too bad. I mean, it's just a Venom-looking cover, kind of standard. But I think the real winner and the one that people like the most is the second print, because it features the new character, Sleeper character, at least at that time, on the cover. So that was the second print. That was super hot for a while. It's still kind of pricey, but none of these have the demand they once did, even though they're kind of picking back up again a little bit. They're getting bouncing back. And again, inside, this is the reveal. So that's why that's the second print cover, the reveal of the new symbiote Sleeper there. Now, what has this thing been selling for? Well, again, like I said, the cover A, $20 most recently. just yesterday, and then $5.50 for that B cover, and then only $9.50 at auction just a few days ago. So it's still not super duper expensive, but like I said, it's starting to pick up again, as this $20 sale will tell you. It's starting to gain traction again. I guess people are excited for this new reveal that Sleeper's coming back. I don't know. But on the market, you can see there's copies of the A cover for 10 to 25 bucks, like 18 bucks as well for the B cover. It's pretty, pretty even for those. And like I said, if you're looking for that second print, that's like $50 to like $70 really, a lot of the asking prices, as well as some of the sales in that kind of like $35 to $50 range too. So you're probably not going to find it in the dollar news, but obviously keep an eye out for that second print if you can track it down. But you might have a better shot grabbing one of these two covers here for the the regular printing, the first print of it. So if you're interested in Sleeper, those were probably your better bet. Now, moving on over to DC, as we like to do. We like to bounce back and forward over here. We're going to go with Wonder Woman. And a classic Wonder Woman villain is getting a redesign, or did get a redesign recently in this Wonder Woman Evolutions issue 7. So, yeah, 7 of 8, this issue here. Inside, we get a new, what is it, Silver Swan, I believe is the character's name. Looks a lot like Archangel. Looks almost like a Silverhawk character to me. It just basically made her all metal, and that is not what the look of the character was originally. It was just more of like a winged, kind of an armored, lady type. There have been a couple of different versions of this character, but I believe the most recent one, and the one we're talking about here, is the one that I have to present to you now, whose first appearance, again, technically, as a kid, this kid Vanessa was in Wonder Woman #3. Yes, the original Wonder Woman. Rest in peace, George Perez. Great run, classic run for Wonder Woman. So if you can go and find this book, which I found plenty of these George Perez books in those dollar bins, this Wonder Woman run, there's a lot of them, and I found plenty in those bins. You can still find issue 3 probably out there. And again, Vanessa here, the little girl, is the character. That's technically her first appearance. Again, it's not as the villain. It's a kid. She's first appears as a kid, but that is the first. So if you like to collect that kind of thing, that's why I'm telling you this. This is the first for, I can't remember the last name. It's a difficult to pronounce last name, at least for me, but she eventually becomes the villain we're talking about here. And like I said, this is still cheap. 99 cents, $3. This thing is sold for recently. And if you go looking on the market, there's still copies, $3, $4, $6. Very, very cheap. This is not an expensive book. And I don't expect it to get expensive based off of what I'm telling you about it. I'm just giving you information. If you're curious, that's a reason for you to go pick it up. And like I said, like a scavenger hunt. It's kind of a fun little thing to go track down. Now, if you want her first appearance as the villain, you got to go and pick up many, many, many issues later. Adam Hughes cover. Like this Adam Hughes cover. A lot of reds here going on. Issue 171. Cry Havoc on the cover. I do like this Hughes run on Wonder Woman, and I go grab them whenever I come across them. But a little extra incentive for this one is, like I said, you get the first appearance of Vanessa as Silver Swan. There it is. And you can see there, she's more human with a little bit more skin showing with the armor. It still looks a bit like a Silverhawk character, but not much like the redesign where she's like full on now, like metal, it looks like. That said, this issue, again, doesn't sell for all that much, all things considered. $7. Granted, that was way back in March, but that's the last one I could find that sold. That wasn't like part of some lot or huge collection. So $7 for this on its own. It's not too bad for a Wonder Woman Hughes book. And if you want to go look at online, you can see, yeah, that's really the market. $6, $8. That's really it. So again, not too pricey for first appearance of this villain, and as the villain, and a huge cover. So not too bad. Gonna bounce back. Back over to Marvel. Black Panther. So there's talk of this Black Panther, Thor 4 could introduce, not really introduce, but it's saying introduce a god with Black Panther ties. I mean, we've kind of seen some of these god type characters already. I mean, we're getting a little bit more out of Moon Knight. We did see the afterlife in the Black Panther movie already. Like, I don't know exactly what they're going to try to tie in precisely, but there's a good chance they might be kind of bringing that character that does have ties to both Moon Knight and Black Panther and Wakanda to the movie MCU universe in Bastet or Bast, which sometimes many different versions. The first appearance of this character, you're gonna go back. This is like one of those. It's open to everyone. It's a god type character. It's like Thor. Like anybody can really make a Thor comic. It's not the Marvel Universe Thor. It's the god Thor. There are no no rights. It's like an open to use type of character. So this character, this god character, Bastet, there's one in Vertigo Sandman run. There's many different versions of this character out there. So finding the first, you're not gonna find that in the dollar bins. So we got to go a different angle with this. So I got a few options if you're interested in this, where you can go with that introduction, that connection between Moon Knight and Wakanda that started in Black Panther 21, and this is with that crossover of Moon Knight and Black Panther. This is also the first appearance of Killmonger as Black Panther. So this book got very, very pricey for a short time. Even some of those, I think, prices are still lingering there from when this book got really hot, because it did with that, with the last movie, and then some of the what if speculation, and then even some of the speculation for Black Panther 2, thinking that maybe they'll bring Michael B. Jordan back and he'll replace Chadwick Boseman. But I think that's all kind of died down for the most part, because if you look at some actual sales for this book, some recent sales for this one's only sold for $6.50, $15, May 10th, and then all the way back in April 13th for that other one. But some of the asking prices are still way up there. Granted, you can find a cheaper one out there in that like $40 range, but still a lot of $100 and $150 asking prices still hanging around on eBay. And I'm assuming that's from the days of when this book was all the rage of the spec world, but nobody repriced. So that's why I think the cheap ones sell and the big ones sit there for a little bit longer. So take that for what it's worth. It's probably going to be a tough book for you to track down in the dollar bins as it is, because of its popularity all those months ago with the Killmonger being Black Panther. But just be aware of it. Just keep an eye out for it just in case. Now, after that, we can go with just some cool covers that have this god type character on them. And one that I like here is this Black Panther 4. This is, I think, also the second appearance of Shuri in it. So you got a little extra little thing there. But yeah, you can see the the pretty cool cover there from that Reggie Hudlin run. That said, this one, again, it's not too expensive, despite it having Shuri in there. Look, a copy sold for $3 or $15 back in like 2005 is when this came out. But and those are both from May, so just within the last couple of weeks, semi-recent sales. And if you go looking online right now, $8 to $25 is really what the asking prices are for this one. So if you find it in a box, yeah, maybe think about picking it up. Again, like I said, it's just for a cool cover. Just like this Campbell cover, also Black Panther 4 from, I think, the next volume. And this is where we have Shuri on the cover as Black Panther. Just a really cool look. Again, Campbell cover, issue 4, ties to Dark Reign. This thing, surprisingly, isn't that expensive. Best offers on $7. Both May sales. I didn't bother going to look them up. It's under $7, so it's still a pretty cheap book. If you want to look at the asking prices, also $7 to $10 is really all that people are looking for. And this is issue 4. And when you think about it, this is her on the cover as Black Panther, even though she's not technically Black Panther until issue 5. I know it's a whole weird history thing because she's on the covers. And that all said, just a cool Bastet cover, I guess. But my favorite one is probably a more recent one, and it's also Black Panther number 4. But it's a second print from the Intergalactic Empire run of Black Panther. But this is just a really cool image. Like, this thing just pops out at you. Not going to be easy to find in those dollar bins or anything like that, but you might be able to. I know sometimes you can find second prints in there. I like hunting for these things, so they catch my eye, and I grab second prints whenever I can if they're cheap enough. That said, this one does about $35 to $60. As you can see, some of those recent sales, both in April, so they were a few weeks ago. And then the market right now is asking 45 to 50. So again, this one's not cheap, but it is a pretty cool cover. And like I said, just kind of sharing it, just as we were just talking about the character. And for whatever reason, we had 3 consecutive Black Panther 4 covers that had the the god, the panther god, the cat god on there. So yeah, just kind of fun for you to go out there and go hunting and looking. All right, back to DC. Well, technically Vertigo. We're going to get into a little bit of Sandman. As we know, we're getting the Sandman Netflix series at some point. We're getting some more stills and images released, like this one, where we're getting our first look at Matthew the Raven. Fun little little character. Long history with Matthew Cable, who then was resurrected as this Raven character. But Matthew the Raven, I believe, first appeared in Sandman number 11 in the Doll's House run. So in this issue is, I think, when we get the Matthew the Raven showing up here in the story with Dream Morpheus. And yeah, if you're interested, nobody even listed that way. So if I'm incorrect on this first appearance, obviously please correct me in the chat down below. I did my research pretty quickly, but this is what I quickly found when I was looking for appearances by Matthew the Raven. So again, if I'm wrong, please correct me. But I'm pretty sure this is what I found when I looked. And this book doesn't, you would think Sandman books would have gotten expensive, but they're not really all that bad yet. I mean, yes, $22, $15 for a raw copy, but look, $9.50 for an 8.0. Granted, I know it's an 8.0, but still, it's a slab copy for under $10. It costs more than that to grade it. So who knows why that went that cheap, but hey, this book can sell for cheap. And available copies, again, low as $8, can go up $20, $25. So like I said, most of the Sandman run is starting to pop a little bit with the upcoming series. So I've been grabbing any of the back issues I can find for that cheap. Now, if you're interested in the Matthew Cable character, I believe he first showed up in Swamp Thing #1, which is already a pricey book. And he had a nice long run in the Swamp Thing series, but he actually died in the Swamp Thing series before being resurrected as that Raven character by Dream. But this all happened in Swamp Thing issue 84. So keep an eye out for that one as well. As you can see, as he was on the cover there on life support, and before they decided to pull the plug on him, he did have this dream with Dream where they had this connection, and then eventually will come back as that Raven character. But again, this is not that expensive of a book. You can see here, $9-10 sales in the last couple of months. Copies online right now if you want to look for it. Yes, they could be going as cheap as $7, $14, and there are some expensive asks up to $45. But for the most part, it's more in that like $10 to $15 kind of range is what the asking price is. So keep an eye out for it. It's kind of a fun little nugget, a little piece of history if you want to go and find it. Plus, it's Swamp Thing. Granted, it's not Alan Moore Swamp Thing. This is not part of the Alan Moore run, but still interesting reads to be sure. So if you find it for cheap, get it just for the read. And with that, we are going to move outside of our Marvel and DC for just a little tad, and sort of ties to Marvel because Marvel now has the Predator franchise, but we're getting like a surprise movie, at least surprise to me. I didn't know they were making another Predator movie under the guise of it being called Prey. And this is going to be a Predator movie on Hulu where I think the Predator is hunting Comanche female character, and could be a lot of fun. You get that classic kind of Old West, the Native American noble hunter on both sides. It could be a very, very cool little story there. So I'm looking forward to checking this movie out. But you're not going to find the first Predator anymore. Those days have sailed a long time ago. But just so we share it, that Dark Horse book, awesome cover, fantastic cover. I believe there's also a second print as well. But this thing's expensive. But if you do see this, just get it. But you're probably not finding this anymore. There were plenty in these cheap boxes for years. These were buried in those boxes, but within the last couple of years, people have been scooping up the nostalgia, I guess, factor, and then Marvel getting the rights to Aliens and Predator has made these dry up in the cheap boxes. But hey, you never know what you might find out there. But to give you a sense, these aren't cheap anymore. So $50 raw. $200 9.6 are recent sales, and the asking prices are $60 raw, and yes, like $200 again for a 9.6, just kind of ballparking it. So first appearance Predator, you're probably not pulling out of those dollar boxes, but what you probably still can pull out of the boxes is I think the next mini series, or one of those early mini series, Predator Big Game, which also features the Predator hunting a Native American character in it. And that one, it was this I think he was he an Apache or I can't remember. I don't want to misspeak a little bit, but Enoch Nakai, I guess, is the character who actually does survive the Predator in this 4-issue miniseries. So he is one of the few that made it through, and I think he showed up in a couple other series after that. But pretty cool little story. So it does have a sort of tie with the Native American character facing off against the Predator, almost like in the first movie, with Billy. Granted, we didn't actually see anything happen. A lot of build up for Billy versus the Predator, and all we get is a scream off in the distance. But hey, we're gonna get more in this next movie, so we'll see. But like I said, this is a very, very cheap series altogether. And this is from issue 4. This panel that I pulled right here is from the last issue, issue 4. But again, all of them are very cheap. You can see here, Predator Big Game. The whole set would maybe get you $15 to $20. 99 cents to $2.40 are recent sales on that first issue. Asking prices for the first issue again are under $2 and $13 for all four. Like, again, this is a very cheap series. Just get it for the read if you find it. They're nice, almost like prestige format books, so you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. Literally, if you're paying a buck for it. So keep an eye out for it. Like I said, just kind of fun little read. And kind of sticking, I guess, with a little bit of a tie to this, we're gonna go to what I consider a ripoff of Pocahontas, Avatar. But a lot of people looking forward to Avatar. Avatar sequel. They're showing all kinds of things, new trailers, new information coming our way of these long, not lost, but long produced Avatar sequels that we're going to be getting multiples of. But they're hoping it's going to bring 3D back. I hate the fact that the first Avatar brought 3D to our theaters. I will freely admit that. Yes, it was cool. It was a cool effect for the movie Avatar because they created it for it. But as soon as they started putting 3D technology into every movie that came out following that for the next few years, it was terrible. Terrible. It just being forced to have to pay for 3D upcharge for crappy 3D changes to like Clash of the Titans back in the day. I'm still frustrated about it. That said, we'll see. I don't know. I don't really care too much about Avatar anymore. It was more than a decade ago. I've kind of just moved on with my life, but it's coming back. So some people are excited. I'm sure it'll probably be a hit again. And with that, we may be getting more comics. I mean, there are a few comics out there, not a lot, but I think the first one for Avatar would have to be the Free Comic Book Day issue that came out in 2017, I believe. I think this is the first one. And this would be the book you want to go and find if you want your first Avatar comic. And it's already selling pretty well for a free comic. But as I've said before, you can sometimes find a lot of these leftover Free Comic Book Day books in those cheap boxes, those dollar boxes. They're usually very thin and may not be in the best shape by the time you get it to them, but keep an eye out for them. You might do well. But you can see here, this thing's selling for $12, $15, $25 recent sales. Asking prices kind of in that $25 to $35 range. And you can see people have multiple copies of these things because, again, it was a Free Comic Book Day book. So there's probably lots of leftovers still out there in boxes somewhere. So maybe it's in the dollar boxes near you. And with that, that's all I got for you this week. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and hopefully you found some of these things interesting. Fun little things for you to go out there digging for when you go hunting. These are things I'm going to be looking for. So, go ahead. You go look for it too if you're interested. Thanks for stopping by and checking this out. I appreciate you all. I appreciate all the support here on the channel. Make sure you check out the article over on comicbookinvest.com as well. A lot of other great free material, free articles there by the other writers as well. And check out my channel if you haven't seen it before, and check out the other videos that I like to do with the Chasing Ghosts and the Hidden Gems and the live shows on Wednesdays and Sundays. And like I said, come by this Sunday for the Star Wars show and get a free shot at that pretty awesome Poe Dameron Moon Knight sketch done by our very own Astro Wizard. And after all that said, thank you again. I appreciate you all, and I will see you guys soon. Later.